Here's your sign. Mandatory paid parking is coming to the waterfront next month. Good evening and thank you for joining us. A controversial plan to introduce paid parking at Prince Arthur's Landing and the rest of Marina Park is getting closer to implementation.
Signs have now gone up around the area warning motorists that they'll have to pay to park their vehicles there starting on June 1st.
They're coming along well. As you can see, there's some signs posted around the park, just kind of giving everyone a heads up that it's coming, and we've got plans underway, installations of the machine and such, and getting the app ready to go. So yeah, things are progressing.
The 7 payment kiosks will soon be installed in the marina parking lots, which will accept coins or debit and credit cards. Drivers can also use the Passport Parking Canada app to pay. It will cost $3 per hour in the Market Square lot next to the Delta Hotel and $2 per hour for the other lots. Parking Authority Supervisor Jonathan Pask will appear before City Council on Monday night regarding the latest addition to the plans. Park users will be able to buy a parking pass, which covers the fees from June 1st through the end of the year.
We did hear some input, comments about frequent users, those who come down here every day or quite often, and so we came up with this pass method for those who come frequently as an alternative to paying the hourly rate. So we came up with 2 passes. One is a 4-hour pass, so you can use it like once per day for up to a 4-hour period, and then we have another pass that would allow people to park all day.
The passes will cost $80 for up to 4 hours of daily parking or $140 for unlimited parking, excluding at the Market Square lot. The city is also allowing members of the Tai Chi Association to park free of charge during their sessions in recognition of the group's effort to create the Tai Chi Park at the marina.
4 First Nations east of Thunder Bay will now have a say in the education of Indigenous students in the public school system.
The Superior Greenstone District School Board has signed a groundbreaking agreement with the First Nations that will inform the board's approach to educating Indigenous youth. Lee Noonan has more.
Across the Superior Greenstone District School Board, more than half of students are Indigenous. The school board has now signed an engagement framework agreement with 4 First Nations that will change how decisions are made for students like Anemki Korshane, who's from Biktigong Nishnabek but goes to high school in Marathon.
Obviously, the education system hasn't been too kind to Indigenous people throughout history, but it's definitely getting better. It's the communities that really know what's best for their kids and how well that they're going to fit the system and what's going to gear them for the best for learning new things.
Superior Greenstone's Director of Education, Nicole Morden-Cormier, says the agreement gives the First Nations a say in significant decisions that impact their youth. She believes the agreement is the first of its kind in the province.
For example, one of the areas that we know we have to do more work on is on the school year calendar. We know that our school year calendar has to reflect the different traditional and cultural celebrations and recognitions of First Nation people. Another is around de-streaming.
In our community, we can do whatever we need to do to ensure that our students are going to be successful in whatever they want to do or wherever they want to go. We haven't had the opportunity to do so for our other kids who are elsewhere. So having an agreement like this, can make that happen for them. We can be involved.
Long Lake 58, Bitigang Nishnabeg, Nedamazagabig Nishnabeg, and Binjitawabig Zagi Nanishnabek have all signed the agreement. The First Nations make up Zone 1 of the Anishinaabeg education system, which promotes Anishinaabe culture and language and works to improve education outcomes in First Nations schools. But across the 23 AES communities, Bitigang Education Director Lisa Mishano Korshan says 80% of kids are actually in the public system, and they want to create the same opportunities for those kids.
We simply are not just people who pay invoices. We want voice in some of the decisions and some of the things that occur within those institutions, and it's important to us to take on some of that responsibility.
Mishano Korshane says the agreement has caught the attention of the 19 other First Nations in the Anishinaabeg education system, and there could be more agreements like it coming soon. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
At Queen's Park today, Education Minister Stephen Lecce is looking for ways to improve safety to protect children's privacy online.
One way Lecce is hoping to make that change is to connect big social media companies like Meta with tech experts and law enforcement. Siobhan Morris explains.
The Minister of Education is sending friend requests to leaders at social media sites
to discuss ways by which we can strengthen the protections for kids online. It's clear that there are challenges.
Invites are going out to companies like Discord, Meta, Snap, TikTok, and X. Stephen Lecce wants to collaborate with social media platforms, law enforcement, and tech experts.
Concerns around the algorithms, concerns around privacy, consent of imagery.
And age-appropriate search functions. Lecce also wants to outsmart kids using workarounds to get past blocks on some sites.
Young people could be very enterprising on figuring out ways to get around restrictions. We see it sometimes in schools using VPNs.
This tech expert says the government's approach here is naive.
It certainly makes for great political points, but there's absolutely no way that Silicon Valley is going to play ball here.
Nothing but the truth, sir.
The CEOs of 5 social media companies were hauled in front of the U.S. Senate in January, pressed to do more to protect kids.
You have a product that's killing people.
The CEOs insisted children's safety matters.
We don't allow sexually explicit content.
Our commitment is ongoing and unwavering.
The hearing ended without a commitment to change.
If they failed, Ontario's going to fail too. They'll simply parrot what they've been saying all along, that they have certain features built into the platform to keep kids safe, and they're doing everything they can.
At the same time, the government's promising legislation next week.
A comprehensive approach to strengthening cybersecurity and privacy protections in schools, children's aid societies, hospitals, and indeed across the public sector.
Details on what changes could look like are scant, but the government says maybe age-appropriate standards for programs used by kids at schools. Stronger standards for software used in class to prevent student information from being sold to help with marketing. It's the sort of thing kids are especially vulnerable to.
Because they aren't in a position to better protect themselves, because sometimes they act in ways that put themselves at additional risk.
And that was CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. The United Way of Thunder Bay is preparing for its 2nd annual Great Lighthouse Rescue on June 1st.
The fun event sees people donate toward the rescue to different participants stranded on Lake Superior. And organizers say it'll be bigger, better, and wetter than ever. Josh Moreno was at the waterfront and brings us the details.
Volunteers from community service providers, supported by the United Way of Thunder Bay, will once again be let out onto the open waters of Lake Superior and stranded at the Lighthouse on the breakwall. The only way to save them? By donating to reach their individual fundraising goals. United Way CEO Albert Brulé says last year the event raised over $80,000, and he hopes to see similar results this time around.
Over the course of the day, we'll probably see in the neighborhood of 40 castaways, we call them, that have been marooned out at the main lighthouse. You know, might be a little splashing and some people might get wet, but it'll be super fun, super safe, and very exciting.
Brulé says each organization is tasked with raising $2,000 themselves, with an anonymous source matching funds up to $15,000, with the money donated going directly back to the organizations. Our Kids Count executive director, Jackie Knuff, participated in the event last year, and while she says they were out there longer than anticipated, she jumped at the opportunity to do it again.
Our team really came together and we got in our costumes and we raised a lot of money for the United Way, which in return supports our Kids Count. So when we were told that it was coming back this year, we were really excited to get our team together and get some costumes ready and have some fun with this. There was, I think, a boat actually broke down last year, and so we were out there for quite a long time. We were making the phone calls, collecting the donations, so I don't know if that was part of the strategy, but it worked.
New this year, we've moved to a Saturday and invited our partner agencies to create a little bit of a festival atmosphere. So our agencies will be down there, they'll have information booths, there may be some games for the kids. So there'll be lots of activities, lots of fun, food, and a chance to see these crazy agency castaways being marooned and then rescued out at the Lighthouse.
The Great Lighthouse Rescue will take place on Saturday, June 1st at Pier 3 at Marina Park. Members of the HMCS Griffin are also back for a second year, dropping off and collecting volunteers, but only once each person's donation goals are achieved. Josh Moreno, TBT News.
Staff from the Habitat for Humanity Restore are set up at the Thunder Bay Solid Waste and Recycling Facility on Maple Ward Road this week, looking for donations. From now until Saturday, Habitat will accept reusable items and materials in an effort to keep them out of the landfill. The 3-day campaign is another way to collect building materials, household appliances, furniture, tools, or just about anything that can still be of use to someone. The items are fixed up and sold at the Restore, with profits going to the construction of more low-mortgage houses for families in need. Restore manager Todd Davis talks more about the partnership between the nonprofit organization and the city landfill.
Our goal is to collect furniture and any donated household items that we can to provide our mission for building homes for people in need. Well, we collect the goods and then we clean them up and try and refurbish them. Then we sell them.
The drop-off is located just past the weigh scales to catch the eye of those already coming to the landfill to drop off garbage or other waste. Anyone with items just for Habitat are encouraged to bring them directly to the Restore to avoid paying the $10 fee at the landfill.
A new play called Liars at a Funeral is on stage at Magnus Theatre this month.
The show is billed as a smashing farce that's sure to bring a lot of laughs. Jaden Billick has the sneak peek.
I think it's a good time to sell Mavis's farm.
Excuse me?
This brand new show at Magnus Theatre takes audiences through Grandma Mavis's attempt to reunite her estranged family in an unconventional way. Taking matters into her hands, she stages her own funeral just in time for an ice storm to trap the eccentric family in the funeral home for 24 hours at Christmas time. The plan seems to be the only logical way to get this peculiar group of liars to reconcile with one another. But will there be a twist?
Mavis really wanted a closed casket.
Artistic director Tom Curry says this comedy, featuring a 5-member cast, is equally as hilarious as it is heartbreaking.
It's a really funny kind of traditional farce wherein, everyone is trying to maintain this lie. A blend of local Thunder Bay talent. Barbara Saxberg is in the show playing Mavis, and then artists from all across the country.
It's a hilarious program. It's full of surprises and shenanigans. It's fast, and it's heartwarming, and it's really about bringing families together. I think this is a show really for anybody. There's a lot of fun in it and a lot of laughter.
Liars at a Funeral has its gala opening on Friday and runs 6 days a week until May 25th. Tickets are available at the box office or on the Magnus website. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Some young entrepreneurs were put to the ultimate business planning test yesterday. Similar to the show Dragon's Den, Thunder Bay Ventures presented Enter the Den, a competition for students to pitch their business ideas to a panel of judges.
The kids are so excited. We ask for their feedback, and some of their comments are like they understand that with dedication, perseverance, and patience, they can do something great. They believe in themselves more. Other comments that we've had is, I just feel so much more comfortable now presenting in front of a group, and it's given me, I've just grown so much from it.
Thunder Bay Ventures got some help from business community partners to host the event at Hammersholt High School. There were 2 categories, one for grades 7s and 8, and one for grades 9 to 12. Each category had a first place prize of $1,000, along with $500 and $250 for second and third. The participants had to give a business pitch that was well-researched, presented, and defended. This year's top prize winners were Autumn LaRock for her business, The Origami Experience, and Natasha Ruzin with her app, Safe Stimming.
I run a local origami crane business. So I first started when I was 11 years old, so that was last year. And I make different orders for people. They're customized, so you can get one with a little hat or just different cranes, different colors. So it's just a variety of paper cranes.
Safe Stimming is an online platform app based around different games that can help people stim and go through their daily lives and navigate it easier.
The winners also spoke about how helpful the Enter the Den event was in the development of their communication skills and say they learned a lot from the process.
And maybe we'll hear hear more about their entrepreneurial
Exactly.
ventures in the future.
Absolutely.
All right, turning to the weather now, Fiona. It was a little cooler out there today. Still a nice day, though, overall.
Yes, actually, it was only a few degrees below normal for this time of year. And I was wondering about my forecast yesterday because it was supposed to be cloudy, and I woke up this morning and saw nothing but blue skies. But the clouds did roll in the late morning, hung around for midday, and then have started to clear out as the afternoon progressed. So we did have mostly cloudy skies for periods of the day, but we also had a lot of sunshine and a low of 2. Winds were from the east-southeast, about 12 up to 33 kilometers per hour, depending on the time of day. If we take a look at what's going on across the region at this time, loads of sunshine to the west in the Dryden, Fort Francis region. They had a low of 6, warmed up to their high of 16, which is what they're at right now. Even warmer still as you head north into Red Lake and Kenora, 18 under, we'll call it partly cloudy at this time, but for most of the day it was actually very, very sunny. A little further east, they had a lot of cloud to start in Greenstone. Most of the cloud actually headed a little further north than originally anticipated, but it has been clearing out in the last few hours. They're currently partly cloudy and 14, 15 in Armstrong, 14 along the North Shore in Nipigon, Marathon, 13 in Wawa, and Sault Ste. Marie. They're currently at their high of 15 under mostly cloudy conditions. Now here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to stay above the freezing mark tonight, but again, just like last night, just barely. 1 Celsius with just a few clouds. Winds will be very light from the northeast, about 10 kilometers per hour. We were hoping to get a bit of a warm-up for Friday, and that may not happen, but I know the all-important weekend is just around the corner, and things are actually still looking very good for the weekend.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to that. I need sun on Mother's Day. That's what I need.
We'll see.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much, Fiona. Well, when we come back, the Air Accessibility Summit kicked off today, where Canadians with accessibility needs were front and center. And we'll have more on that as your Thursday News Hour continues.
Behind this and committed. The summit today is a great example of how the whole industry is pulling together to get to a barrier-free Canada.